NAZCA monkey and a NAZCA hand, which have been officially decoded by Corey Anthony, Mr. 45-degree discovery, because of the 4 and 5 fingers that you see featured that are intentionally counted as that. Now, I was just live, I know, but I had to make another follow-up video because what has happened is this discloses something very important. Now, what is disclosed important here is that, and this is to show to other people that have not seen my recent video. As you can see, there are 4 fingers here and 5 fingers here. Those are the digits that we count with. Our fingers are called digits. That's another word for a finger. A finger, including the thumb or toe. So understand that any of the numerals from 0 to 9, especially when forming part of a number. So I brought that up because of something very important. At the end of the day, when it comes down to what you see here, what this has revealed as far as these counts of these geoglyphs, I said something very important in a previous video. I said that this has to be communicated to me. Now, what sparked this thought and creation of this video actually is the fact that what that reveals is these numbers that you see here, these simple numbers that you see here, are communicating something clearly about 4.5. If you could at least admit that. 4 and 5, which I've been talking about for the longest. But what you have to get with this is, people have been speculating that these are a communication effort to the gods in the skies. That's why you can only see them from the air. And so what you have to understand is, with me and what I just said, with me just disclosing that this literally has to deal with the numbers 4 and 5. This is something that I've disclosed potentially could be and had to have been known if it is not a mathematical reason that this outlay of 0 through 9 digits on a grid arced at a 45-degree angle and broken in half at 4.5 versus a 1 through 10 count might be intentional. If it's not a mathematical sequence underlying reason for that you can't have 1 through 10 and you have to have 0 through 9, then this has to be something known by God or created by God to be that way mathematically. And what I'm speaking of is the discovery that you see here on the screen for anyone new that is lost. You cannot replace these numbers with 1 through 10. This has been disclosed by me. The importance of this is the realization that a higher echelon being that created numbers, not human beings, had to have understood and comprehended good that 4.5, 4 and 5, all numbers adding up 0 through 9 equaling 45. This at a 45-degree angle, this level of consistency is only able to be done with this right here that you see on the screen. 0 through 9. 1 through 10, you can't get the same. There's no such thing as a 45-degree angle using 50 or 5 and 6, a 56 degree. This is not at a 56-degree angle. All of those digits add up to be 55. It just throws things off because you would, 1 through 10, have 5 and 6 at the top up there. All of this is being said because at the end of the day, why would something that created those numbers that you just saw on the screen, such as a higher intelligence, create or need to be communicated something towards by something on the ground about numbers that it created? How can you teach something that created it? This is obviously something that's communicating something about 4 and 5, and the creator, as I'm showing, is who created 4 and 5. They don't have to be told anything about that. So what I'm showing and what I'm displaying in this video and coming to the conclusion of helping people who study, such as archaeologists and geologists, the NAZCA lines. The NAZCA lines were not created as a communication effort to the gods. They were communicated to us. And firstly, me. I'm just being not cocky, not just sick in the head, and over self-centralized and concluding with just me. I'm including everybody because it could be a communication effort to uh, a group of people to figure out and not just one person. You know, as far as that person figuring out first, that's the importance. If it's not communicated just to me, it's communicated to everybody in the world to figure out about these numbers. Okay. Now, I showed you and told you that this NAZCA Sun Star has to deal with my birthday as well, 7/12. I've shown that. So besides that, there's nothing else that I really have to go into. I just wanted to let y'all know that much about the NAZCA monkey, and anybody who wants another glance at it, you know, just as far as the count, if you don't feel understand the double what two-factor authentication is, if somebody saw that or heard me making a video saying that, hey, I've made a mathematical discovery based on the NAZCA Sun Star right here that you see on the screen. And it deals with the 45-degree angle. Every star out there outside of the NAZCA Sun Star is also at a 45-degree angle because there are 19 other stars that are not spoken about beyond the NAZCA Sun Star, which enlarges the canvas in which this was drawn on, which is very important. So this right here is one way for me to say, okay, y'all, not only were these lines that were made as far as the geoglyphs here in Palpa or NAZCA, such as this geoglyph, put on top of the old geoglyphs, what this reveals is the old geoglyphs, such as the NAZCA monkey, which people are more, you know, knowing of, communicate 4 and 5 too. And you have 4 and 5 right there all day. So 4.5 is the center of this discovery. It goes beyond that. It goes behind that time because those people had to learn it from somebody. That's what you have to understand. There's a lineage being communicated there at that point. So you have 4 fingers and 5 fingers on that monkey. And then on the hands geoglyph, you have 4 fingers and 5 fingers. I mean, who counts like that? How many human beings, was there a sector of human beings on earth that were just born with 4 fingers and 5 missing a thumb or whatever the case on one hand and all fingers on the other? That's what I'm saying. That's why I brought up two-factor authentication. If something were being communicated to a person from the past and they, number one, this doesn't happen every day. Because communicating it to God, that ain't what's going on like I'm showing. This is communicating something to us. And 4 and 5, after you saw that on one of them, a person might say it was a mistake. They might say it's just a coincidence after they know you've made a discovery dealing with 4.5 and went on to show this as something to back you up that was made, mind you, before this geoglyph was made as well, which is very important. It shows lineage, like I said. And so at the end of the day, you would see one of them and say, it's just a coincidence, probably, is what the world would probably reply. It's just 4 fingers and 5 fingers. Maybe it was one there at first. You know, maybe there was a finger that's been there for so long. Maybe somebody altered it and made it 4 fingers or anything, like any type of excuse, right? But when it happens more than once, that's how you know that it's not just a coincidence. That's signature behavior. That's what it is. It happened once and it happened again. That shows intent. And so that's very important to understand. And I just had to make this video because the difference between the previous video and this video is that this video actually discloses who the lines were at that point created for. Not the gods or some aliens at that point. It's a message to the future. That's what it is. How at that point as well, how did you know where to put some lines like these? These lines could have been put in any other desert as well, is what you have to know. They had to examine the area to know that it would be unbothered. Straight up understand that. So that shows that what this reveals is that there was potentially some society in the past that had some form of either mental or technological ability to either see or communicate into the future. That's very important. Straight up. Because I mean, if you only way you can make something on a desert like that is if you knew that it was going to be not bothered in the first place. You would have never risked the chance to put it there. I mean, think about if it were the Sahara Desert. You think it would have been seen? Because guess what? There are sandstorms there. There are no sandstorms here. That's what you have to understand. They would have been covered up like other deserts. Other deserts have said they had to, like I just said, either looked into the future to know that it would stay there, or they examined the area and realized, okay, this place just, there is no sandstorm, no bothering here. If we put something in the sand here, it'll be known forever, nearly. That's just stretching it, of course, but just it'll be known for a very long time, is what they possibly acknowledged. So 4 and 5 was communicated twice. In the past, in the ancient past, and then here you see it again several times over with all of those stars in the NAZCA desert. And that's all I have to say. I hope y'all enjoyed this video.